Hey, my magical friends. Welcome to another Witchful Ways podcast episode. I am Annika, offering you the insight, guidance, tools, and amazing resources to allow you to live a magical life every single day. Okay, this week, let's talk about how you connect to or how you find or called to your divination tools of all the different things that are available out there. You guys have heard of, I'm sure, the most common divination tools, such as the pendulum, Ouija board, spirit dice, which are my all-time fave, black mirrors, candle scrying, witches' runes, Norse runes, right? There's all kind of throwing bones. There's all kinds of different things and tools that you can use for divination. But how do you decide which is one that calls to you? So first I have to address a myth, which is that you have to master all of them. And you do not, right? You know, my motto is you do you, witchy poo. Always has been, always will be. You do what you feel is right for you and your practice and how you connect with your energy or your messaging from spirit. There's only you that understands and knows your true language, universal language, right? So you have to dive into and lean into what it is that you are using to make that connection. So there's a couple things that I like to tell people when they're browsing at, in my shop and they send over questions and stuff. And they say, which one is best for me? Which one should I use? Which one's easiest? Which one is, whatever. And my answer to that is you really don't know until you invest in trying them, one. But there are some considerations that you can take in mind as you're browsing what's available, as well as knowing that you do not have to master all of them, right? Just like when I always say, there is no need to master 92 different herbs or crystals or whatever it may be, right? Any ingredient or tool, you don't have to master like the whole kingdom of. You don't have to know every single crystal and their correspondences. You don't have to know every single herb and their correspondences. Why? Because you're not going to use every single one of them all the time, right? You are eventually going to try some different ones, and then it's going to get narrowed down into the ones that you really feel comfortable working with, the ones that you resonate with. And the same thing should be true of your divination tools. Now, my favorite divination tool right now is spirit dice. I love spirit dice. I feel like it is just something that fits me right now, where I'm at, my lifestyle, and what I'm using them for. So spirit dice are something that is, to me, so beginner friendly. It's the one that I usually point people towards first. Between that and oracle cards, I feel are great beginner tools. The reason is because oracle cards are going to have use of your own universal language, right? Like it's all about imagery. It's all about what you see, feel, and connect to in the illustration of the card. And the other thing on spirit dice is so easy because they're literally spelling for you. Like you can't miss, this is the interpretation of the word, right? You ask a question, you roll the dice or drop the dice, and you see what words come out for you. Now, I have to say, remember, if you're using spirit dice, that they do use what I call text writing. For example, WM might mean William. If you've asked a question regarding wanting to know who or a name, right? WM could be short for William. BRB, be right back. Not that they're ever going to say be right back, but just an example of the things that we use. LOL, right? Laugh out loud. Like that type of text typing or text writing, spirit can use that. Why? Because we understand it and it's a way for us to communicate. Okay. So, and the other thing I want to say with spirit dice is that you read all of the letters that are facing you or that are visual to you, not just the top. That's why my spirit dice are in sets of 9, because the letters are strategically placed so that you can get the most combination of letters to create words out of the visual aspect of all the letters, right? So anything that you can see in a letter is what you use interpretation. Okay. So that's why I love those too, right? Like they're just super simple. So what do you look for then when it comes to what considerations should I take in? One is your lifestyle. What do you have space for in your home? What do you have time for a divination session, right? If you have some space where you can set up a little, even though a black mirror doesn't take, depending on the mirror, I guess, doesn't take up that much space, you can put it away easily, unless like me, you leave it hung on the wall. But do you have that space? Are you open? So we still have some people that don't practice openly, right? So you're not going to have a permanent altar or divination space. So it's something that you want to have that's really portable. And also, what is the purpose of what you're going to be using them for? So again, I'm going to go back to my favorite, which is spirit dice. And I like them. I like to use them for these reasons, is because one, it's easy for me to understand and to connect the messages that come through, like I said before with the lettering, right? Two, the purpose that I use spirit dice for is if I'm doing a investigation, right? Or maybe I'm going to a cemetery, or maybe I'm going to someplace that I think is haunted. I can use those spirit dice in those physical spaces very easily. My spirit dice, I have a set that's in my purse all the time. It's 9 dice, right? It's in my purse all the time in its little own bag. If you go to my shop, witchfulways.com, you're going to see you can get them in bags, or they're my number one thing that goes, because I love to create them in all different ways. So, and all different looks and things. So anyways, I don't want to hang on that too much, but go check them out, because as you can tell, like they're my favorite right now. So what's your purpose that you're going to use it for? It'll be a little bit harder to take something that is a fire scrying, right? If you do fire scrying into a graveyard, if you're doing that, or into a different home that you're investigating or checking on energy or whatever it is, right? Sometimes you can't have open flames, so you don't want to just be dependent on fire scrying, right? So, and even black mirror scrying, right? Because a lot of times we set that up with a candle flame flickering reflection in it for a focal point. So it really depends on the purpose. If you are having a group gathering, a seance, then you're probably going to want to use a spirit board or a talking board, right? Or some other fashion. Some people use, right, the set of candles that you light, and then each one is a certain yes, no, right kind of thing. And whichever one gets blown out is the answer, or flares up or whatever, right? So know what your purpose is that you're going to be using them for, and also how do they fit into your lifestyle? Does it feel cohesive into kind of your natural feel of things, right? Sometimes we want to do things in a way that feels very ceremonial and very witchy. And then you will take the time to set up your space, to do divination, to do all of those kind of things. But sometimes we just want to be able to get answers really quickly on the go, right? So again, that's why I have spirit dice, 9 dice. It takes me a second to pick them up and to throw them down so that I can ask my question. I have a car charm that hangs, which these will be added in next week into my shop as well. But I have a car charm that hangs from my rear view mirror, but you can unhook it and it becomes a pendulum. So I never have to worry about, do I have something with me? If I go, oh, that place looks creepy. Oh, I'm getting a really, an energetic feeling about this particular spot that I keep going by. So next time I'm going to check it out. I don't have to worry, do I have something with me? I always have the pendulum in my car if I'm in my car, right? Or if I have my purse with me, I always have the spirit dice. Not so easy to carry around a black mirror, again, depending on the black mirror. I also have what I call spirit peep mirrors, and they're compacts that you can put in your purse or in your pocket or whatever to take with you as well. So those are the things that you should be looking at when it comes to, or considering what kind of divination. Now, the other thing is being able to try them, just like the same thing of being able to pick up a crystal and feel its energy and see how it's working and how you connect with it. You do the same thing with your different divination techniques. Most of the divination things that we have are not very expensive, right? You can get a pendulum pretty inexpensively from an online source, or even from the big AMZ, right? Amazon, whatever it is that, or you don't even have to spend a lot of money. A pendulum is nothing more than something that's swinging at the bottom of a string, right? So if you're thinking, does pendulum work for me? Well, then you might want to try and take your favorite necklace and one with a pendant, right? And see if working with a pendulum, doesn't matter what the pendulum is made from, to see whether or not the messaging comes through to you and how to work with it, right? If you're thinking of maybe I would like a black mirror, maybe scrying's my thing, then you might want to just get a dark bowl and fill it with water. The dollar store has black bowls and dark blue bowls and dark green bowls, right? Anything that's a darker color you put water into, it's going to have a reflective surface that you can scry. And then you can say, okay, maybe now I want to invest or create my own black mirror, right? So being able to actually go in and get your hands on maybe not something that's expensive to begin with, but something that you can try out your divination techniques with, or that modality of divination with. And then once you go, yeah, this feels good. Like, yeah, the messages, I can feel them coming through. I can understand this is something that I want to work more with. Then you can look into investing into the bigger, more expensive, gemstone, pendulums and those kind of things, right? Or creating your own. Okay. So again, it's about understanding how it's going to fit into your lifestyle. How are you connecting with the energy of the modality that you are going to, like some people, if you're not somebody that is, likes to sit and meditate and just be quiet and still, then scrying or black mirror is probably not going to be for you, because that's what you need to be able to do to scry, right? But if you might be more inclined then to go with spirit dice, or to go with casting runes, or something that gives you more of a physical kind of higher energy to it than a subdued Zen thing. Okay. So hopefully that answered the question. I love the questions when they come into me. So please do not hesitate to reach out to me either on the website, on the contact me page, send me a text message through the podcast. However it is, message me on Facebook. I'm under Witchful Ways on Facebook and Annika Rogue, so that I can answer these questions, because that's the point of being able to live in a spiritual way and do things in witchful ways, right? It doesn't matter what your modality is. It's that you take the time to understand how you connect and how you can receive and or then achieve what it is that you want. And lastly, make sure that you head over to the website at witchfulways.com. Grab your freebies from there. Check out the offerings that I have of items, services, and resources. Thanks so much for joining me for another podcast episode. Have a wonderfully magical rest of your day. We'll chat with you again next week.